So 30 tools in 30 minutes or so. Hopefully we'll be okay. We should be fine. Before I get started, there is one little thing I want you to be aware of. In the lower right-hand corner, if you see a purple icon with the Westchester Office of Physicians Ed kind of little logo thing going on, those are tools that the university provides either to everybody or that our office has licenses for that we can use to support faculty. So if you see that, know that that's something that comes from our university. All right, so first up today is practice, which we do have that monthly workshop coming up for, I believe it's in November. But this app that was formerly known as AppRenet is a web-based or mobile tool that is really good for case study style exercises, and it's video-based. And it follows the pattern which you see here on the screen. You will present a video challenge to students, and then the students will create their own video response to that. Then they will watch their peers' video responses and analyze them, evaluate them based on criteria that you have provided. And finally, the students will go and watch an expert response, which can be you again or someone external that you invite in. And then they kind of reflect on their original response and what they've learned as they go through the process. So it's a great tool for getting around a content or a skill kind of in multiple different ways and really immersing them in that content that you're trying to convey. So you want to learn more, take the monthly workshop. Voicethread, web-based, does have a mobile app, primarily a discussion tool, asynchronous. I'm not sure if you can do synchronous. So asynchronous discussion tool. You take some media, a document, a video, a picture, a PowerPoint presentation, and you load it into this tool, and then you can have conversations around it. And the really wonderful part about it is that students get to pick. Do they want to respond with text? Do they want to respond with audio? Do they want to respond with video? They have choice in how they choose to engage in that conversation. If you want to learn more about this, that is this upcoming month's self-paced workshop. So another one that you can kind of check out and get involved with. GoAnimate is a web-based cartoon video creation tool. It's you can kind of see up here. Here's my cartoon avatar, and we've got Marc over here on the right. It's a great way to do scenarios where it may be difficult to create a video of in live situations. And a good example is special education. It's very difficult for them to get parental releases to film situations in class, but they can use a tool like this to recreate those scenarios for students to practice their skills or to talk about. It's also just a fun engagement way sometimes to mix things up. Pretty large library of resources available in the tool, and you can either add your own audio or put the text in, and the computer will automatically generate the voices for you, which can be kind of fun. They have some nice different, what are those called? Accents. Glogster is a web-based tool that is really just electronic bulletin board, electronic poster. You can put up video, pictures, text, and create this digital poster. It's a good tool if you want to do storytelling exercises or have students digitally present some sort of poster-oriented. I keep saying that word because it's really all this does. It's a digital poster. We can get you a license if you're interested. So we often get questions about how to do student presentations here in the online environments, and this is one of the tools that we will often talk about. I will say that you can only create video with this tool if you have a PC computer. My Mac is not capable of using this tool to make a video. You can watch the videos on any device, but for making you have to have a PC. It's a free add-in for Microsoft PowerPoint, and Microsoft PowerPoint is free to anyone in the university. And this particular tool allows you to create either voice over your slides in PowerPoint or to actually do video as well. It captures your webcam. You can do annotations. You can actually insert some questions into this style presentation. You can load it to Microsoft's servers, and then from there you can get embed code, which you can put into your course, or you can get a link, which you can have students click on to watch. And if you use the link, it will collect some basic statistics on views and how long people spent on the video. So this is one option for students who may wish to do audio narrated presentations. Another video-based tool is called EdPuzzle, and this allows you to insert questions into videos, although it's not really in the video, it's on top of the video. But you can have a video that you might want students to watch for your blended course before they come to your face-to-face meeting, and you can ask them questions as they watch through the video, and you can get the data on that so that it helps you decide and figure out where students may have struggled with their understanding and kind of tailor your instruction in the right way. It also will let you know how long students have watched the video, so if it's a 5-minute video and a student only spent 30 seconds on it, that might tell you something. So it's a freebie, doesn't cost anything. There used to be another service that we talked about last year called Zaption, but that went away, and this is still really the only solution that's out there that isn't something we build in Desire to Learn. This is new. I like to, it's H5P. I keep calling it HP5, but it's H5P. And it allows you to create very simple interactive elements that you can incorporate into courses in Desire to Learn. There is no data that you can collect off of these. They're just interactive things that students can utilize within the course. My recommendation is you have students read or watch something, ask a question with one of these just to give them a chance to practice that information, make sure they're retaining things that you want them to retain. Happy to demonstrate some of that a little bit later. But they have 27 different types of simple interactions that you can build and utilize.
And that can be put right into D2L?
The interactions can be embedded right into a course page. The Padlet is a digital bulletin board. That's a good way to describe it. Students can go in and create or share texts, links, video, documents. I really think it's a great brainstorming tool, a good way to kind of get some ideas out there as a class to get things started. I've seen some faculty use it. One in particular in nursing has students share an image of nursing from 100 years ago and an image from nursing today, and they have a conversation around how that's changed. So these boards can be open to the public, moderated, private. You have some control over those settings. And if you see here this background, you can do a lot with the backgrounds. So there's some interesting flexibility and options that come with this particular tool. This is an oldie, but a goodie. Continues to be very good at what it does, which is electronic flashcards. If you have terms, vocabulary, things that you just need students to know, and flashcards is a good way to study that, this could be a resource you could point them to. You could create your own set of flashcards. You could have students create their own sets of flashcards. There's a whole bunch of different ways for them to practice with those cards, including some games and different activities there. It's been around for a long time. It's a pretty large website in terms of user base. But they do one thing, and they do it really well. Socrative is also web-based, and it's questions. You see 3 types here: multiple choice, true, false, short answer. This is a tool that I would encourage for use mostly in blended or face-to-face settings. There's not a lot that this does that you can't do in D2L already. It's kind of a different way to do what you can do with the quiz tool in D2L. It's fairly easy to create, easy to get students connected, works across a lot of devices. Mobile, pad, computer. You can have kind of control questions that are in front of students as they go, or you can set them free. But if you're in the online environment, I would probably point you towards the quizzes tool rather than this particular tool. In that same vein of personal response style systems, or the electronic version of the physical clickers, is a a web program called Kahoot. It uses game elements to make it a really exciting, really engaging quizzing session with students. We found, even at the collegiate level, I've used this pre-K all the way through university. Doesn't matter. Students really get engaged in the excitement of trying to answer these questions quickly and get the points for getting it right and being fast. It is only multiple choice. very visual oriented. One of the cool things is you can actually insert little video clips, so they can watch a little video clip and then you can have a question about it. It's kind of neat. Okay, Google Drive we use as a representative of a class of different tools, and that's the cloud document sharing tools. For example, Dropbox, Box, Microsoft OneDrive, what's the Apple one I can never remember? iTunes, iCloud. And these are all very similar in what they can do in that you can load documents and files to this cloud storage site and then access them across many different devices. And you can also collaborate on those documents with different individuals. I had a faculty member who used Google Docs to let groups work together on statistical problem sets in an online course. So these students never met physically, but they collaborated on Google Doc to solve these statistical problems and to work together to do that. And that's exactly what she did in a face-to-face class, and she used the technology to translate that into the online environment. With Google, it integrates, they have documents, presentations, spreadsheets, forms. You can very easily get hooked up with YouTube and with Google Hangouts. So a lot of students have Google accounts, so this is the one that we tend to see most often. This is also representative of a class of tools. This is video conferencing type synchronous connections. So Skype, FaceTime, Zoom. I'm missing one, but that's okay. I've seen some faculty using this one. It's a freebie. You can have up to 50 people participating in a call at the same time on the free account, which means you can't use it for really large classes, but most classes that you could do something on here. The free account limits you to 45 minutes per meeting, which is great because it keeps you focused and on task. And when 45 minutes is done, you can either start a new meeting or you're done. Pretty easy to use across devices. You just share a link to get people connected to your meeting room. Pretty easy to set up. This is one that I've seen a lot of use at the K-12 level, but I can see some use here if you're interested in communicating with students via text messaging. This service protects phone numbers. So students connect to your classroom with their phone number, and you connect with your phone number, and you can send a text message, and it goes out to their phones, and they can contact back through you, but nobody ever knows whose phone number. Like you're not sharing numbers that way. The service keeps that protected. You can message whole classes. You can go individually with students. They do have to connect to your class that you set up in the service. And so if they choose not to connect, then they're not going to get the messages. But you can pre-schedule things, and considering how frequently people are text messaging, this is another option that you have to try to communicate and connect with them. Last one for me, hopefully I'm on time here, is a tool called Hypothes. It's web-based. It does exactly what it says right there. You find a website, you plug it into this service, and it allows you to make comments and annotate right on top of that website. So, for example, philosophy, they have a lot of really old texts that are out in the public domain and on lots of different websites. So you find one that you like, you put it into this program, and then you can start adding your questions and your commentary for students to look at as they're reading the document, and then they can respond to that, and you can start to have this conversation as you edit a website, as you collaborate around a website. There's some other uses, potentially with English, where you can put up a source and engage in that, break down an argument, and all sorts of interesting things that you could potentially take from there. So that's it for me. How did I do? Good? All right. Marc's up next for our last 15 tools.
Okay, so Swivel is this right here. It's a little kind of robot that sits on a table or a tripod, and you connect an iPad or an iPhone to it, and it will record you. And the neat thing about it is that in order for it to fully work properly, there's a little sensor that you wear around your neck as a necklace, and as you walk around, it will turn and it will follow you. So if you were doing something that you need to be hands-free for, you're standing up in front of the classroom, you're in a lab, something like that, this is a great tool to help make a video. Qualtrics is, IT has done a really nice service for us in getting a site license for Qualtrics. It's a very straightforward survey tool. You know, if you want to poll your class about something, or if you're doing research, or you know, it's just if you've ever used something like SurveyMonkey or even just Google Forms to put together a quick survey, it's very easy to use, but also has a lot of really high-end features in it as well. So it's a fantastic tool if you haven't had a chance to take a look at it yet. Examity is our online exam proctoring service. So this is primarily for distance courses for faculty who are giving high-stakes exams. So what you would do is you would create an exam in the D2L quizzes tool, like you normally would. And then this is an extra sort of layer that sits on top of that, where in order to take the exam, the student has to connect with a proctor using their webcam and their microphone, and the proctor will then monitor them as they're taking their exam online. So the proctor can see the student through the student's webcam and can hear the student through their microphone, and can also see the student's desktop, so they can make sure that the student is focused on the exam and not using other resources or whatnot to try and get an edge. Adobe Connect is one of the web conferencing services that are available. Our office has licenses for that if you're interested. There is another web conferencing service that's built into D2L called Blackboard Collaborate, but Connect seems to be a little more straightforward, not quite as many issues with that, a little easier to start up, at least for the students, a little less confusing, the setup process and whatnot. And so this allows you to have a synchronous meeting with either a small group or a large group of students. I mean, we have yet to find a group large enough that this program can't handle. Has a lot of really neat features built into it as well, things like polling and individual chats and whatnot. YouTube, everybody knows. If you've been on the internet, you know what YouTube is. The nice thing about YouTube, though, is that there are a lot of great tools embedded within it that can help you with various aspects of your video. So if you've made a video using Camtasia or the Swivel or something else like that, and you stick it in YouTube, there are some built-in editing tools. YouTube also has a captioning service where it will try and caption your video, and it does a fairly good job with it too, but you can go in and you can edit those captions to clean them up if you need to do that. You can also add some other neat things like background music and whatnot. That's all legally obtained through them. So there's some really neat features for hosting your videos through YouTube. Adobe has a really nice suite of tools that are available for free. The first one is called Spark Video. It allows you to take your own snippets of audio and images that you have, and they have a library of images that they've legally obtained, and you can kind of put them all together and make your own sort of little animated video with it. And it's all hosted on their system, so really all you need is the app either on your mobile device, or there's a web version that you can use through your desktop computer, and it's all completely free and hosted through them. The next part of their suite is called Adobe Spark Page. So again, take your resources, your audio, your video, your images and whatnot, and you can put them together onto a web page that is, again, hosted through Adobe. This is a great way to do something like digital storytelling, or if you want to kind of advertise some of your research, or if you want your students to present something through a web page, this is a very easy way to do that. Again, available through the web for free. There's an app, however you prefer to do that. And then the last part of their suite is called Spark Post. This is for making graphics. It's primarily for social media posts, but you can also make graphics for other things as well. I personally use it to make course banners for D2L. And again, kind of the same thing. You have your images, you bring those, they have a library that you can use. You can throw it together with some text, and they have predetermined templates in there that can make a really nice, professional-looking piece of content. Twitter has been around for quite some time, but can be very useful both in the classroom and in the distance format. Of course, it's all about sharing little snippets of text and whatnot, but faculty have found some really great ways of using it to communicate with their students, to connect with experts in the field and celebrities and whatnot, and really kind of encourage interaction in a way that is not necessarily possible without it. Pinterest is another very popular social media tool, and faculty have also found some really creative ways of using this in their courses as well. This is a great place to collect a whole bunch of images and keep them on a board for students to use, or students can contribute their own images together on a board. You can also comment on the various images that are collected within the board. Slack is something that's kind of caught popularity within the last year or two, primarily within small businesses, but it's a very nice tool for having discussions. It can be a great alternative to the discussion board. It allows you to, it's kind of like if you've ever used AOL Instant Messenger or messages on your phone or whatnot. It's kind of a version of that, but you can create subgroups of people. So you can have a group within your class. You can have groups within your class and have them communicating with each other. And then the nice thing is that they've made it possible for other services to be integrated within it. So you could do things like poll your class on certain things, or make a to-do list that everybody's using, or students who are working together can have a to-do list if they're working on a project together. So it's a very versatile yet simple app to use. iTunes U is part of it's what we're doing now in the self-paced course for September. This is a learning management system designed by Apple specifically for the iPad and the iPhone. The nice thing about it is that it will help you collect all of your content for your course and put it together in a place that's very easily carried and portable. And not only can you take content from things out on the web, but you can also use Apple's library of all sorts of things, TV shows, movies, podcasts, pieces from other iTunes U courses that faculty have made available to the public. There's just a huge amount of content that is accessible through this, and it's completely free to use for everyone. Thinglink is a neat little image app where it's web-based. You take an image and upload it into Thinglink, and what you can do is kind of make little hotspots around the image if you want to point certain things out, and then when the student moves their mouse over those hotspots, more information pops up. So if you're trying to get them familiar with a certain piece of equipment, or if you have a large image where you want to, very specifically point certain things out on there, it's a great way to get their attention. And then the last thing is a trio of apps. One is called Babel, and it's to help learn some foreign language vocabulary in the context of where you are. Music Tutor is just a very simple app for practicing music sight reading. And Night Sky is a great reference for astronomers or people studying astronomy. The thing that these three apps all have in common is that they are apps for the Apple Watch. I imagine that a lot of you have, maybe noticed students, other faculty around campus over the last year and a half, we're starting to see wearable devices show up on people's wrists. And we've gotten to the point where it's okay to use laptops in the classroom, and it's okay to use smartphones in the classroom. Well, now we're getting very close to that point where a lot of people are going to be having these wearables, and we need to figure out some ways to take advantage of those as well. So there are quite a number of educational apps available already for these devices. So that's it.